um, how to create a new column in addition to the existing or in the data model. Okay, let's say you have a table. In the table already you have 10 columns. You need to create a new column based on the existing column. Okay, you want to create a new column based on some business logic. Okay, what do you mean by business logic? In my data set, the same example. Okay, the sales data is there. The sales data, I have the quantity and unit price and sales amount columns are there. But the management wants to see what is the net revenue and the net margin. So in that case, they need to, so in that case, so they need to give us some formula, right? So our business logic, which logic they use it to derive the net margin and net revenue. Okay. So for that, these two columns like a net revenue or a gross revenue, gross revenue or a net revenue and all, right? You need to use some formula, but again, some companies they use, but again, from country to country and company to company, the formula for calculating this one will differ. Okay, and 1 second here, I'm just getting a call. Okay, sorry. So if I want to create an additional column like the profit or this one, net profit. I want to create a net profit, but net profit, I need to display the net profit in my report or dashboard. But the net profit, we don't have any column readily available. Okay, and what we need is we need to use some business logic or formula given by the customers. For example, in the total sales, right? You need to subtract the cost of goods sold and operating expenses and taxes payable, those kind of things, in order to get the gross margin. Okay. Simple example is, school time we studied, right? Selling price minus cost price is your, it gives you the profit, right? So net profit is something like after reduction of the taxes and everything, what is the net profit? So they gave you this formula, and you need to create a new column by the by the name of net profit as part of your existing data set. So in that case, we will have to create, we have an option in Power Query Editor called custom column, using which we can create a new column based on the formula. So it is also in the analytics world, we also call it a derived column, derived variable or derived column. Because this column, the new column which we are going to create, it is based on some formula, derived from some formula, and also based on the other existing columns in my data set. The next one is the conditional column. And lastly, we will take a look at column from examples. The conditional column, we can define some kind of bucketing or binning using this conditional column feature. And column from examples, we will take a look at it. This is also one of the very interesting feature. Okay, very interesting feature. Even if you want to perform complex data formatting, right, or data transformation, it is very much handy to do that just by pointing and clicking it. Okay, we will take a look at this interesting feature also shortly. And first, we will proceed with understanding what is custom column here. Okay, let me open the Power BI desktop. So they use in some cases net profit margin percentage, something like they will tell net profit margin, something like net profit. So you need to be familiar with at least of 5 to 10 KPIs, key performance indicators, like a net profit margin and cost of goods sold. Likewise, okay, whichever domain that you specify it in your resume as a project, real-time project, right? So you need to be familiar with at least 5 to 10 KPIs like this: net profit margin, something like, okay. For example, the case of SEO, search engine optimization, the click to conversion ratio, something like that. Okay, in the search engine optimization, how many number of, let's say, you have given an advertisement in Google, and your ad is displaying in Google web page, or sorry, in the Google ranking. Okay, and so there, how many number of people clicked, how many of them, how many out of those clicked ads, right? Customers clicked my ad, how many of them actually got converted? Likewise, different domain will have different KPIs. We will discuss a separate in a separate session about that. Don't worry. So here, the simple thing is the formula for this one is net profit divided by total revenue. Total revenue into 100. Okay, this is the one will give you net profit margin. Something like this. They'll expect you to create a new column in addition to the existing one. They will not tell you to create a new column because they are business people. They don't know how to do all the things. Let me open this one itself. This one doesn't have much data in it. So net profit divided by total revenue, or the net sales, net profit by net sales divided by net profit divided by net sales into 100 can give you the net profit margin instead of total revenue, right? So we can say net sales. So net profit margin, you can get it. Okay, got it. So we'll explore each and every one of them here in the Power BI desktop. Here we already have good data here. Okay, I just go to the transform data, Power Query editor. And here I just select sales fact. Here I have quantity, sales amount, and cost price is there. Okay, and cost price. Okay, so I just go to the add column. You need to click on the add column. Okay, so you need to select this ribbon to create a new column. Look here, when you select this ribbon add column, the entire menu got changed now. The column from example, custom column, invoke custom function, and conditional column. Okay, all these things plus duplicate column. You can, if you simply select any column, and if you click on duplicate, it will get copied. Okay, duplicate column as the name, and also you can create index. We'll start with take a look at how to create a custom column. So this is my custom column. Sometimes, okay, what we will do is here I just create cost price. Okay, on the right side here, we can find the cost price. You don't have to type it manually. Cost price into the quantity. The quantity is, where is that? This is my, listen, I'm going to say cost of goods sold. COGS. I'm going to create a new column by the name of cost of goods sold. Cost price into quantity. And this is my actual sales 100. This is my, the actual cost price of, the products for the two product of P001. So this is the product for P001 product, and yeah, P001 product. We sold two items in this line item. 2 units we sold, and for those two units, we made $100 sales. But the actual cost for these two are 80. Okay, and if you look at the cost of goods sold and sales amount, most of the cases this one will be more, this is less, because this is selling price is kind of the actual price, and rarely you will find the sales amount, right, will be lesser than your cost of goods sold. So here it's 70, everything is fine. And what I'm see now, what I did, I created a new column called cost of good, and the next step is I need to subtract the cost of goods from sales amount. Okay, and to determine the profit, something else. You just think that way. Custom column, net profit. So here the formula is slightly different. I'm going, because my sales amount is already there, and my this one. So what is the formula? Okay, here net profit by total revenue, right? So something like net profit, I have not yet arrived. So we are going to arrive the profit now only. Sales amount minus the cost of goods sold. So this is the profit, net profit. So actually we need to subtract tax and all. In this data set, we don't have tax and all. Hence, I call this a net profit as far as this data set is concerned, because of limitations. Okay, we don't have the profitability and all. Sorry, the tax amount and all. So what you can do is you can add some tax amount. For example, if the sales amount is above 60, so roughly, just for to simulate, right, you create a tax column here. This is an assignment. The tax column, what you do, take the sales amount, multiply it by 0.3% or so, randomly, right? You do it. So what you do is, and then here you need to subtract the tax also, right? And you take that as net revenue. Net revenue minus the cost of goods sold, right? So in that case, you will get some value. That is what your net profit. So once you arrive your net profit, and the next step is net profit margin. So net profit divided by total revenue or net revenue into 100. That is what your net profit divided by net revenue into 100. So that is what your net. So now you understood how we can create the new columns. Okay, based on the cost of goods, I've created based on the existing data set. Okay, and based on the existing data set, we can create it. Okay, net profit, we created it, and okay, this is how you can create the custom column in Power Query Editor. And it is not that we are going to create a single column. Sometimes you may have to create more than one columns also, even to arrive a single thing. For example, to arrive a net profit, I need to know the cost of goods sold. But here, if you select here, or you can do the logic in a single thing itself. Okay, instead of having two columns, the single column itself, we can do it. But to make it very transparent and simple or legible, we created even two new columns. Okay, and if you click on the added custom, See, this is the one we did it. So on the right side, just beneath the applied steps, if you wanted to see the logic that you used it in the this one, right? And next one is, sorry, the net profit. This is for net profit, and this added two custom column that we added it. Behind the scene, this M query, M language got, this is called your M language, table dot add column. Okay, and we don't have to write this M language. It is automatically generated behind the scene. Okay. Okay, and here cost price into quantity. Okay, you can use this one. And this is one way of doing it. Okay. Fine. So next one is we will create the conditional column. I'm going to click on this thing. Okay, conditional column. In the conditional column, we are going to create a, we can create, with the help of this one, we can create some kind of bucket. For example, in this case, okay, we will take the sales column as a base column, sales amount. And if the sales amount is greater than, no, is, so first we'll start with is less than, okay, less than 100. I'm going to put 100 here. So here we can see that if condition, if the sales amount is less than, operator also pretty simple, just click on it and select it, is less than 100. And you can see here, you have a select a column or enter value. We have entered the value directly here, or you can use a existing column. Okay, if this column is less than this column, do something. Okay, you can do it that way also. But here I'm not going to choose any column. Instead, I just type the value as it is. Okay, sales amount is less than 100. Then what I do is I just say the sales is low. Okay, low. And then click on add clause. Look here, we have something has add clause is available here. When you click on it, you can add multiple if conditions. Because I wanted to create three. I want to classify this data set with three types of sales. One is high sales, medium sales, low sales. Else if the same thing, sales amount is greater than 100, anything greater than 100, then I say medium. Okay, and then add a thing. And then if the sales amount okay, here I say is less than, okay, here it will cause some is greater than or equal to 100. And if you wanted to delete any specific condition, let's say I wrongly mentioned it here. If you think that way, on the right side of this, you will find three dots. This is called ellipses. If you click on this, you will have an option. Okay. You can also move this up or down, or you can delete it. Okay. Supposing I want this to move up and down, I can do it. And here I say anything above 500. Let's say anything above 500 is high. High sales. And importantly, when you do customer profiling, or right, so you can take their income. Those customers' income is falling in less than something, and or between something. In that case, you can create a bucketing like this. So in the case of customer profiling, we want to understand who is the high potential customer or medium potential, low potential customers. And if you get to know, those customers are high potential customers, later point in time, we can target those customers to propose or recommend to buy any new products which we launch it with a higher cost. The product cost is very high, and only those customers can afford to buy it. For example, in the case of car, so we are launching a new Lamborghini car model. Okay, it costs around 60 lakhs and above. Only the high income group people can afford to buy. There is no point in sharing brochures with the low income group people, right? So in that kind of cases, this kind of profiling, we need to do some kind of bucketing. This is called bucketing. Okay, and now I just click on OK. Let me see what is happening here. Look here, the custom column got created, right? So here I just go here and okay, added conditional column. Earlier it was added custom one, added custom. But if you see the logic here, when you select, on the right side, see these are the steps will get registered automatically here. Okay, the sequence of steps, whatever we perform or carry out against our data, that one will be captured here. This is for our reference, what we did previously. See earlier what we did, we created a new column called, look here, add column, cost of goods sold, cost price into quantity. And also it is good if you remember at least a few functions like this table dot add column, remove column. In the intro, they'll ask you, what are the M language functions? Can you tell me at least 5 or 6 M language functions? If you tell them, they'll be happy. Fine. Okay, the next one is with this one, we can see this one and added conditional column, because now we have added a conditional column. Here I can see it is not the right way of doing it. I don't need the codes around it. Ideally, we should have removed that. You need to remove only one. So remove two. Okay, and I just test it and press enter. Okay, and if you click on the drop down here, so look here, the low, it is not surrounded by double quote. Similarly, if I go here and I remove the two double quotes, see if I put, if I want the value to be enclosed by double quote, it puts additional, two double quotes, right? Two double quotes. But anyhow, we don't need it. I have mistakenly given it there. Okay, here medium, look here, now it is medium, the sales is medium. So if I wanted to see it as part of my analysis, I wanted to see and if you click on here, and you will find low, medium, but high is not there. There is something wrong with the logic. Okay, what is the problem with the logic? How do I go and fix it? Look here, added conditional column, select it, and the right side, just close to this, right? You will find the wheel. Click on the wheel. It will open up the conditional column window again. And here, if the sales amount, we can see that medium and low was taken into account. High, it was not assigning or flagging high to the sales amount, which are more than 500. Look here, I have made a mistake here, equals. So sales amount equals, right? So here it is ideally is greater than or equal to, right? Is greater than or equal to 500. It is high. So this is how you can modify it. Supposing you made a mistake and later point in time you want to fix it, you just go to this step, right? The added condition. This is where we added the conditions. And if you see the sales amount is greater than or equal to 500, then higher. But still, when I click on this one, let me just press enter. And if I go here, still I don't see. Okay, and still I need to make some changes here. So here, if the sales amount is less than 100, it is printing low, and is greater than or equal to 100, medium. And here, what we will do is enter a value. Okay, then see here. So we have something called else, right? We have something called else is there. And if, okay, if the condition is true, put 100. Sorry, if the condition is true, which means sales amount is less than 100, low. Else, what do you want? So null, you put null here. You need to look at this one also. If the sales amount is less than 100, you put, since we have used multiple else if, right? If the sales amount is less than 100, put low. Else you do this, and else you do this. Else, you can add final else also here. Since I did not put anything here, it is simply, the default one is it shows a null here. Let me just select here. Is greater than or equal to, is less than or equal to. Okay, I just put it here. Okay, instead of saying less than or equal to, right? So I say I just define it something like less than or equal to 600 is medium. And let's say 601 and above is greater than or equal to, or simply I say 600. Now we are able to get all the three conditions, medium, and just validate here. So high, low, medium. Got it? Though it appears simple, sometimes what will happen is when you specify the logic incorrectly, you will not find the all three categories. Though you have the data in your data set matching to these conditions, because the condition, whatever you mentioned, incorrect, right? It is not correct. Logically, it is not correct, but syntactically, it is correct. So earlier I mentioned sales amount is equal to 500. So there is no record has the value 500 in the sales amount column. Hence, it was not showing anything related to high. And also, even after changing it to is greater than, and some confusion was happening. And here I mentioned it like is less than or equal to 600, which means is less than or equal to 600. Okay, anything is less than or equal to 600 medium, anything is greater than 600 high. So then it is working fine. So this is how we can create a conditional column. Even in the case of, let's say, customer profiling, if you want to do it, you can do it that way also. And also in the case of customer profiling, like I said, the customer income column is there in that customer data set. And based on that income column, you can create a bucket like high income, low income, medium income by specifying the conditions like this. And another situation where we use conditional columns or something like this one, customer age. You have the customer's date of birth is there, and you are going to create a segment, the customer segment. Okay, the less than 30-year-old customer and less than 40 year 50 60, because for different age group the purchase preference also changes, isn't it? So in that case, we need to do the profiling based on the age segment. So those kind of situations, we will use the customer age column or date of birth column, something like that. Okay, with that, in that case, let's say customer date of birth is there, and you need to compute the age. And once you compute the age, the next step is that one. Look here, I have called data set called dim customer, and here data birth is there. This is an assignment for you all. Give it a try. So how to extract, how to convert this is a age. Okay, anyhow, I'll show you how to get age from this one, because we have not seen how to work with the date column to extract the age and all. So that one I will show you. And then what you do is with this, you need to create a new custom column to extract age, convert this as age. Okay. And how do you find out the age of a person? Simple thing, right? What is his date of birth? And today's date minus date of birth. That is the one will give you the age. So you need to find out the age here. And then you need to create another column by the name of age bucket. Okay. So, and the age bucket should tell, so between so and so age, they are, less than 30. Let's say a person is less than 30, less than 30, and 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59. Likewise, you can create the category. Once you create the category, it is very much useful to perform analytics. Which age group prefers which products more, which products they are buying more. Okay, and which age group are spending more. You can find out. You can do a lot of analysis with that. Got it? So this is the one, and the dim customer, you go and create, extract the age. Okay, you need to compute the age. Okay, simply say, you need to compute the age. You have the date of birth column. You can find out. Fine. So these are the situations wherein we create the conditional columns. And the next one is the custom column from examples. Look here. So far, we have seen the custom column and conditional column. And the next one, we will take a look at the column from examples. Okay. So, okay, what is column from examples? So using this custom column, we can create a new columns based on some conditions, or based on the existing columns. If you want to apply some conditions or rule, business rule or logic, you apply it. Like we have seen how to compute the net profit, right? We use some formula to compute that one. So the custom column is very much helpful, and especially when you do some kind of complex transformation, you don't have to write too many lines of code, and you don't have to be in-depth knowledge in M language, okay, to perform any complex transformation. With the help of the custom column from examples feature, with this feature, column from examples feature, you can you can even perform the complex transformation just by typing the data in the sample data in the empty column. Okay. And now now the question is, when should I go for column from examples? Custom column you understood, and conditional column is meant for creating buckets or profiling. If you want to do customer profiling or product profiling, you can go for conditional column. And column from examples, you already know which transformation you need to do it, but you are not sure what to select in the UI, to the user interface, to make them happen. Okay, and other thing is, the data, what you want in your new column, but you're not pretty clear which transformation or the collection of transformation will get you there. So you know what you wanted. Okay, for simple example, is date of birth is there, and I wanted to format it. Instead of having like this, month, date, this is date, month, year, right? I want to convert it into year, date, month. If I ask you to convert this data format into year, month, date, how will you do that? It is little bit difficult, right? So in that kind of situation, the column from, one second, the column from example is little very much helpful. I just clicked on the column from examples. Here you have two options. Usually we don't use this one, from selection. What do you mean by from selection? So the column what I selected here, DOB, right? Create a column from examples. For this column, date of birth. So that is what the from selection says. Okay, we are done. And if you see here, you need to scroll at the bottom. Okay, you need to scroll towards the right. Otherwise, the date of birth column will not be visible here. If you have multiple columns, it will not be visible. And don't panic. Only few columns are there, but in my data set, I have multiple columns. Where were they? Simply, you just see it here. And now what I do is, see, the magic here is, I just type the few sample data here. Here I say 12, 12. That's it. I don't need the time also. Okay, that's all. I just see, you need to just feed few sample format. Once you feed the sample format by typing it like this, year, so look, but based on the data only you need to type it. So first one is the year, -12, and second one is year, right? So 1998, -10, 12. So year, date, month, date, something like that. Okay, that's all. I just fed only two records. It automatically extracted the values for the rest of the values in this column in the requisite format. Basically, I wanted to extract the date values from the existing date of birth column in this format, year, month, date format. Okay, see, it made my job pretty simple, very, very simple. Now you might be asking this question, what is big deal? The date of birth is, sorry, customer, why should I convert it to this one? I will explain with another case study. Sometimes what will happen is, you will have to pass values as a date to another function. Somebody already hosted a REST API. Sorry, the customer, some websites, they, to access the data, what they do is they give some API. For that API, we need to pass the values to get the required data. Okay, in that case, what will happen is, they will, the customer website, they already, actually, I own a website, Deep Neuron. So what I do is, to enable the users, for example, users wants to see their birth date, okay, and age. Okay, what I do is, in my website, I created an app, and what I say, hey, you don't have to break your head to compute the age and all. Simply, you need to pass the birth date to my website API, but you need to pass it in this format, year, month, date. Only then I can give you I can compute the age for each and every employee. I'll give you. That is the kind of situation. You need to convert this. You cannot simply pass this to my website app. It will not work, because it will work only in this format. You need to convert this. So in that kind of situation, this is very much helpful. The column from examples. Look here, and here it is very, very, look here, to text dot combine, date time dot to text, date of birth, YYY, date time to text, DOB, percentage D hyphen 2, 12. Right, so here this is the equivalent M language. Imagine that if you have to use this logic, how much time you need to spend. You need to spend quite a time. to get this logic. First, you understand, first of all, you need to learn what is text dot combine, and then what is date time dot to text DOB. So, by default, it considers, the text data type, and to text date time dot to text DOB, and ye what take YY only. Okay, and then hyphen. Look here, the hyphen. After you put year format, 4Y, which is nothing but 2000. Okay, minus the 12 minus 12. Right, for this, you need to write this logic. So this is where you need to use your programming skills. But these column from examples features literally, helping, literally it'll avoid writing the M language script manually. Okay, it helps us to avoid. You understand? It is a pretty cool feature, and that is also the reason why the column from examples are so popular. I just click on OK. Fine. So, and I just this is one example. And some cases, if you want to split the column, okay, you want to split the column, you can use this one. I'll show you that one also. How to split a value from a column, okay? Sometimes what will happen is, you have the first name and last name data are available in a single column, but the customer wants you to split the first name separately and last name separately. You see, you have a column called name. In the name, you have something like John Joseph, Chris Reich, and Stephen King, Raj Sekhar, like this. It is there, okay? Or I will do it with this here itself. I'm going to duplicate column, and then I will do the same thing for the duplicate column. So without duplicating also you can do it, but it is safer. I don't want to disturb my original copy. Let it be there, so that after I merge these two, basically I want to do some kind of merging here. And how do I merge these two here? Merge columns. We have an option called merge columns. Separator, space, merged. Look here, new column name is merged. Instead of giving merged, okay, let it be there, so that you will be able to understand. So now with this, you are able to understand how to merge the column also. Look here. So I just move this somewhat closer to your this thing here for verification. First name and last name, I merged it. John and Joseph, Chris Wright, and Stephen King, right? It, yeah, got merged. So in some cases, what will happen? Sometimes what will happen is you will not have the first name and last name columns available in data set. Rather, they will give you the column something like the name, something like that. Okay, let's the customer. Let's say the US customer day tells you, hey, currently the first name and last name, both of them stored in a single column. You need to separate it. So the first name should be there in a separate column and last name should be there in a separate column. Okay, for demonstration purpose, what I did, I just, use this existing two columns and I merged it. And then I just, to showcase you, I just created this column and I'm telling you, hey, this is how, let's say, let's assume that in this case, you don't have these two columns. So from here, how do I create the first name and last name? How do I split this? So merging the column, we have merge column and we have something else called split option is available. And for that, you just right click on it. Your split column option is also available, using which you can split it, or else you can go for, see, if in this case it's pretty simple. If you need to split based on this space, okay, the split should happen based on this space. Look here, split column by delimiter. by number of characters, something like by delimiter. Okay, by delimiter, when I click on it, and yeah, so here space, select, the select or enter delimiter. In this case it is space, right? If I simply click on OK, what will happen is this one will get splitted into two columns. One will have only the first name and other one will have the uh, one second, I will just take a copy of this one, duplicate column, and I will show you what is split also. Okay, we discussed about merge here, and I will show you the split also, split column, and just click on by delimiter, and simply I give OK. Look here, the last one got splitted with splitted by two columns. John separately, Joseph separately, first name separately, and then you need to go and rename it. This is first name and this is last name, something like that. This is pretty straightforward. In some complex cases, what will happen? The first name, is something like John. Second name is Mariam Joseph, something like that. Lengthy name. Okay, in that case, uh, the last name itself having two words in it, Mariam space Joseph, then it is a little bit challenging to split those kind of values. So that's where the column from examples are very much handy. Just you need to fill in or you need to feed few sample data against the data set. So based on the sample data, what you feed it, it will learn it, and then it will. So it's something like a machine learning, artificial intelligence. Okay, so that is the popular term in the IT segment, right? Data science or artificial intelligence. So it is in the artificial intelligence. That's all. We just simply give some sample data. The programming language or the algorithm will automatically learn the pattern whatever we type. Based on that, it goes and do the split. That's what we have seen it in the date column formatting, isn't it? The year, month, date format, we converted it just by feeding two values into the new column. So hope you understood with these examples how to create a custom column, how to create a conditional column, how to create column from examples. And this is one of the super cool or super awesome feature. And also we have seen the how to split the column, how to merge the column in this session. Okay, the next one is the custom function. We will jump into custom function. Custom function. What is a custom function? First of all, what is a function? You take any programming language, function is one of the important concept. In simple term, okay, now the question is, why should I need to use a function or something like that? Okay. The reason is, once you create a function, you can call it anytime, as many times as you want it, you can call it. It is kind of a reusability. The functions, or please remember this important thing, okay, and for reusable purpose, for reusability. That is the reason why software became so popular. Automation, all the things, right? Because of reusability, we are able to save a lot of time and duplication effort. We are trying to eliminate the duplication effort or something like that. Okay. Okay, reusability. For the sake of reusability, we create a function, and the function will have the set of or it will have the set of instructions in it. Okay, a function will have a set of instructions in it, and it will return a value. It will return a value, the custom for the function. But in Power Query Editor, we call, instead of merely saying function, we call that the custom function. Okay, So once you create a function, right, it's something like a write once, uh, invoke many times. It is something like you buy a car. Once you buy a car, you can use it as many times as possible. If you don't buy a car, what will happen? You will have to hire a cab every day to go to your office, or you need to rely on company cab. Okay, let's assume that you need to your place, company cab will not come, and even the auto is not available. Only option is cab. You need to book a cab. So every day you have to pay money, but different cab will come, and there are some kind of inconvenience also, right? This custom function is somewhat similar to this. You need to write once. It's something like owning a car, right? So write once and invoke many times. You write all the logic, the commonly used logic in a single place, so that the same logic wherever it is required, simply you can call the function. It will perform all kind of calculation, everything, and then it will give you the output. Okay. Now we will take a simple look at, with this example, you should be able to understand what exactly the custom function, now we can use it in real time scenario. Okay. Look here what I am going to do is, I'm going to right click on this place. Say in the Power Query editor on the left side, just beneath the queries. Okay, don't click any queries. The empty space, right click on it, and you will find something called new query. And then if you come here, blank query, click on blank query. That's it. Here, what I am going to do is, I am going to say, this is rocket arrow, okay, equal sign and greater than is called your rocket arrow. And here I say A into A. That's all. My function is ready. I call this as a function. Supposing I want to square, let's say I want to square any value. Is it possible with the help of a function? Yes, it is possible. For example, 2, see, it is asking the parameter. So what is this? A here, this is your parameter. Okay, you are in your function, the argument, right? The parameter. For any function, you need to pass a parameter, but there are some cases you don't have to pass a parameter. But in the case of custom function, you need to use some parameter. In this case, A is a parameter, and followed by that, you need to specify the data type. And this is syntax, okay, as is a syntax. So A is a number data type. To tell that, you need to use this syntax, A as number, and rocket arrow A into A. So here, you take this A and then multiply the A on its own, okay, so that it will get squared. If I listen here now, as soon as the function I created it, and when I pressed enter, it is asking me the value for this parameter A. If I type 2, what will happen is, this 2 will get copied to this one, this A, and then this 2 will get copied here. So 2 into 2 is 4. Got it? So if I click on invoke, look here, 4. And if I ask you, hey, tell me 256 into 256, you don't have to use your calculator. Simply type 256 and click on invoke 65536. See, this function is so handy, right? Square me function. So look here, my query one, so I'm going to give some meaningful name. Right click on it, the query one, select the query one, or right click on it and rename it as square me. Very simple one. As soon as this session is over, please start practice it. Okay, otherwise you will forget it. Okay, square me. Okay, so this is one simple function. And now the question is, square me is fine in real time scenario where it is. Can you give me some other example? For example, you are part of a payroll department. In your company, you are a payroll manager, and so far you've been calculating the net earnings for each employee manually, or in the Excel you do it everything. It's a time taking process. In your company you have 250,000 employees are there. Take for example the case of TCS, 5 lakh plus employees are there. To compute the net salary for each and every employee, it is a time taking process. Though you have each employee's data available in your data set, like what is basic, HRA, and incentive, loss of pay, like all those informations for each employee you have in a data set. It is in time taking process. Okay, and what you are going to do is you are going to create a function. That function, what you are going to do is you are going to implement the logic for all the employees. For each employee the same formula is used to compute the net salary, or does it varies employee to employee calculating the net profit for the formula which we use it to compute the net profit, sorry, net salary. Okay, for each employee, does it varies? No, right? For all the employees, the formula to compute the net salary is same, but the data will vary from one employee to another employee. That is different story altogether. But the formula to compute the net salary or gross salary is same. I just show you with one simple example. I'm going to create another custom function. Right click on the empty space and new query, click on blank query. Now the question is, sir, every time do you have to go and click on the blank space and select new query and then click on blank query and then do you have to do it? So, okay. So the other option is, okay, I just did the same thing. Go to view and then click on advanced editor. Here also you can write the function, the custom function. Here what I am going to do is, this is an alternative way of doing it. Okay. And here I'm going to say gsal. Let's say gross salary as number. I'm going to pass two parameter, loss of pay. So gross salary and loss of pay. And this is the one with this, by passing these two things, it should give me the net salary. Simple example for demonstration purpose. Don't literally go by the formula of the net salary computation in your company. Okay. Here I'm going to say gross salary minus loss of pay. And then finally, I'm going to say net sal. So now you might be wondering, okay, I just click on done here. Okay, there is a mistake here. Double equal sign is there. So that's why when you use that one, okay, don't worry about that. Okay, look here. So if you don't face any syntax error, then it should come like this, enter parameters. It is now asking me to enter the value for these parameters, gsal and these things. Look here, gsal is a parameter and lop is a parameter. Right, so we just specified some general name. Okay, so that if I pass any value to these two variables, it automatically picks up and then it computes the net sal and then it returns the net sal. So this is something like let block, and this is called your in block. And whatever the computation or the expression on the right side of the equal sign, that will get executed. The output of this one will get stored here. And I wanted to return this value. In the in block, you need to specify net sal. In block is mandatory. And here you need to specify, because the net sal is the one holding the final net salary value. After subtracting the loss of pay from your gross salary, the net salary will hold the net sal value in it. That is the one it is returning it. So now tell me one thing. In your company, you have 5 lakh employees are there. With this simple formula, you can compute the net salary just by passing these two values. Okay, and it will make your life very simple, right? Okay, so now here I just say the net salary is I just let me be very let's say 3,25,000, and then loss of pay is let's say 25,000 for us to remember, So 3,25,000 will get copied here. This is my parameter. The value for my parameter I mentioned it here. This is value for my parameter G cell, and for this is the value for LOP. See, it is asking in a very logical way, right? So it's asking me, hey, enter the value for G cell, enter the value for loss of pay. I entered it. This one will get copied here, and these two values, since it's get copied, it's the values will move down here also. So the 3,25,000 will come here from here to here, and LOP, the 25,000 will come here. So 3,25,000 minus 25,000, the net salary is 3 lakh. Okay, so that is what the idea. If I click on here, look here, 3 lakh. So now, okay, in your company, the deductions, you have various parameters like provident fund and the tax deductions, TDS, tax deduction at source, and many things, right? You put all the formula here. That's it. You need to put the generic formula, common formula. Okay. Once you create it, you're all set. This common formula, what I'm talking is, this is called your business rule or business logic. When you talk to the software guys, they use this term business logic, business logic. This is what they are talking about. This is the business logic that they use it to arrive the net sal. Okay. But in the real-time scenario, they'll do complex calculations. The earnings minus deductions, and the gross salary minus LOP, loss of pay, minus tax deduction at source, minus P provident fund, and minus the ESI, something like that. Okay, and they deduct all the things, and finally you'll get net salary. But this logic is same for each and every employee. You agree with me or not? Say yes or no. Are you all feeling sleepy? Sunday. Is this logic same for all the employees, right? The formula will not vary from person to person. The formula will remain same. For example, in your case, you did not take any loss of pay. So hence this column will have 0 against your name. So total salary LOP is 0. Okay, then you will get the salary whatever you wanted. Okay, so this is to I just rename it as a meaningful name, net sal or some compute net sal. So square me function compute. So we started with a very simple custom function. So with this function, no matter what value is specified, it will get squared. Okay, and here it is very generic. We did not do hard coding. For example, had I mentioned 10 into 10 directly, what will happen? This function will return all the time 100. Instead, I made it generic. How I made it generic? A into A. Just pass A and A into A. So here I did not do any hard coding. Hard code means don't put the value directly. Instead, you specify the parameter value here directly. This is my parameter, A into A. That's all. And here you need to specify the value. Now the next question is, okay, sir, I created a function, but in my company I have 5,50,000 employees. Or each and every employee, do you want me to type it here? What is, again, it is a rework, right? So, okay, don't worry. For that, I will come back to you. Okay. So as of now, we created a function called net salary. Okay. And the next step is I just go to employee table. Okay. In this case, I just LOP and G cell, right? So Here we don't have data here. Let me do one thing. Okay, for the time being, I just open the employee. Here, I will say, I'm going to see something like, okay, instead of this, I just go to my operating system. I'll create some test data, okay, and at least in the Excel will give more salary. Let's be liberal, at least in the Excel, okay. So these are the different employee name. Okay, it is not okay. Here I just say John, and here I say Shweta, something like that. Okay, different name I just give it, and manager something like that. Okay, let it be there. Here I just say to like 24,000 something like that. Okay. This is my for gross salary, and we have deductions, right? LOP. I just say LOP instead of commission. I just say LOP for her. I will put null here, and here the LOP is 2,000, 25,000, 10,200, and 5,000, 15,000, something like that. That's all. My data set is ready, and I don't need these two columns. This is not required to give a demo for this. I'm going to delete these two columns, and we are going to have only these columns in it. And I just select it and include emp1.csv, right? I just load it into this data set quickly, and here itself we can load it. Text CSV, emp1.csv. That is the one, right? Okay. I just click on OK. Yeah, we are done. And the next one is, look here, in this case, we have how many employees? 5 employees. You just think likewise 5 lakh employees are. This is very important. Listen carefully. With this, I'm going to wrap up. Okay. Let's instead of 5 employees, 5 lakh employees are there. Each and every employee, I need to have an additional column. That additional column, net salary to be computed automatically. How it should get computed automatically? Because we have already created a function called compute net sale. This function has to be applied on this data set. Okay. Now you see the magic, how it is going to happen. So what I am going to do is, in this data set, I'm going to, so I have this sal, and this, you assume that this is my gross salary and this is my loss of pay. Okay. And I just go to the add column and invoke custom function. Here I just say net sal. Which one I use? This time invoke custom function. Remember, okay. This is different. So far, I did not discuss about this one. I discussed about custom column from example, conditional column, invoke custom function. I did not discuss so far. Now function query. What is the function query? compute net cell. You need to go and select it here. So here in the drop down, when you click on it, all the functions, whatever you create will display. See, square mean compute net cell. We don't want to square the value. Instead, I wanted to compute the net salary. For this compute net salary, I have written the logic in this function. Okay, I have selected the function name. I'm going to apply this function on this data set. Look here. So this function accepts two parameters. One is a gross salary, other one is loss of pay. Okay, here, look here, it's a very beautiful option here. Column name. So simply go and say which column you have the gross salary data in it. Salary column as the uh, gross salary details in it for each employee. And here, two option here. You want to enter manually or you want to enter the column name. If I enter manually, it will take a lot of time. In my case, I have 5,50,000 employees. Other each and every employee, if I enter it manually, my life has gone. Instead, I just simply click on the column name and select loss of pay column. This data is already available. Loss of pay for each employee is available in this column, and salary, gross salary is available in the column name of sal for each employee is available. Now what we are saying is, create a new column by the name of net sal, and for this column, you need to apply this logic. So pick up these two columns and then subtract for each employee the loss of pay from this the gross salary. But you might be wondering what is G cell and cell. G cell, you can give whatever name. Okay, here I've given some meaningful name. Okay, G cell means you will understand quickly. Okay, G cell is gross salary. So gross salary, from the gross salary we are subtracting loss of pay. That's the reason why. But you need to map the correct value. This is my parameter name, and you need to specify the correct column. You just see the magic now. Click on OK. Look here, just with one click, I'm able to compute the net sal for all the 5,50,000 employees. Just think that way. Okay, here we have hardly few records are there, 5 records, but here nothing to deduct. Simply it gives me this one, 120495 minus this one, and 120445 minus this one, 24053. And look here, fat, in a matter of second, it was able to compute the net salary. So that's the reason why we call function in general function or custom function as a reusability. We are able to reuse this function for each and every employee, wasn't it? That's what we did it for each and so the same function we reused it. We simply called it behind the scene. It calls for each employee and then it executes for each and every employee. It goes simply and pick up the gross salary from this column for each employee and loss of pay for for each employee. It picks up and then for line by line each record it goes and subtract gross salary minus loss of pay, gross salary minus loss of pay. With the simple function we are able to implement the reusability. You don't have to write the same logic each and every line. If you want to do the same thing in Excel, what you do? So you need to create a new cell called net cell, and here you need to put the same formula, right? Subtract this one from this one, subtract this one from this one, right? So let's this is column G8 minus H8, and here sorry G8 minus H8, and then G9 minus H9 and G10 minus H10. You need to specify the formula each and every. Here it is not like that. Simply create a function once and then use the invoke custom function. There you call that function and then you specify the column names for the corresponding parameters. It does everything in a matter of seconds. It makes your life pretty simple. Once you develop this, that's what they'll ask in the interview. So did you create any reusability? Like you, I can recruit any number of people, even with 3-year experience for people, right? Let's say for Power BI developer with 4-year experience, I got 1,000 profiles. Why should I recruit you? because you can tell them that time, say, I carry a lot of experience because I worked in a complex project and I developed a lot of reusability. What kind of reusabilities? What are the reusability? You need to say fat, right? For computing the net salary, we have created a separate function, and also to compute the tax. For that, we have created a separate function, and a price layer. This one, yeah, so the likewise, right, you can tell them, and then date of birth to find out the date of birth of each customer, especially in the case of custom profiling and all. We have used the reusable function. Okay, now for you the assignment is use the same technique, create a custom function, and then find out the date of birth for each customer. There, here I have the date of birth, and but you need to create another column, next to this one, and then you need to display each and every employee's age. Okay, compute the age for each customer. I'll just share this file to you all, but don't worry. Okay, and if you don't understand, don't panic, and you can ask me. Anyhow, I'll share the solution also, don't worry. So, okay, it's already 3:21. Anyhow, we'll try to compensate the cancelled classes in the upcoming sessions. Don't worry. We will circle back next weekend. Okay. In the meanwhile, you watch my video and start practices, starting from the beginning to till date, whatever I covered. You review it one more time, and try to keep your eyes and ears open, because you know the world, right? Current world, everywhere competition. Getting the job is not that easier. Okay, and it's especially the guys from